All right, so today jumping into the metaverse once again and really diving into understanding what this might mean for the rest of retail and also all the content creators out there that are really looking at advancing NFTs in this new era. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to TechPath. NFTs Metaverse. If you are new to this channel and those two words right there are, what is that, Paul? What is that all about? We're going to try to explain not only this, not necessarily to the detail of how this might work, but obviously if you saw our video on the metaverse last week and kind of just the evolution of what Facebook has done in terms of rebranding to Meta and their future, if you've ever watched the movie Ready Player One, that's a good example of what the metaverse is. It's essentially going to become a location in, whether it's virtual reality or within some sort of online gameplay, where you'll be able to transact in a variety of different ways with a lot of different types of tool sets. Now, it's been attempted in the past, in Second Life, we've seen it in the early days. You've seen it with all sorts of VR applications that have failed. And now blockchain seems to have given it new life because of the ability of what blockchain can do. So because of that, I think blockchain in general has been the one contributing factor that's linking a lot of what you're about to see together. And that is, I want to jump to this first story, and that is Nike is preparing to enter the metaverse with virtual sneakers and apparel. This simply means that you're going to get into some scenarios, I think, right now with where people, from an aspect of what is happening within style, just general style. Nike, of course, is one of the big players there, and if they do pull this off and start to move in this direction, then the likelihood is they could open up Nike stores, start to do all those kinds of things within the metaverse, within that virtual world that really starts to engage in terms of transacting within the blockchain as the currency element that could fly across all of this. There's a lot of projects that we're going to be talking about today in the video that will really kind of break down where all this is going. But the main thing I want you guys to understand, and we're not doing any charts today, but we are going to show you some moves in recent tokens that have very tied to where the metaverse content creator side is, that will really start to make you rethink what you're doing in terms of investment strategy. But Nike, obviously with going this direction, right here is their trademark applications and job postings hint at joining the metaverse. Again, this is something that when we see these kind of scenarios, according to records submitted to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, this was this Wednesday, Nike filed applications for its namesake, swoosh logo, just do it, etc. All for online and online virtual worlds. So the filings, along with two recent job postings for virtual material designers, suggest that the company is obviously laying the groundwork to move into the metaverse. And I think this is a play from a designer aspect, and we've seen, and also just here on the channel, we get a ton of people that reach out to us, pitching new projects and concepts and things of that nature. We do a lot of research on them before we even bring them up on the show. But the idea is that we're seeing a lot more apparel coming at us from an NFT aspect, meaning we're going to see companies moving in this direction. And when you think of apparel, I want you to think about the big brands, and that are the brands that are really kind of the ones that I think a lot of people would like to be involved with, and especially when you think metaverse. Here's an example, story over from Glossy, how 5 brands have launched into the metaverse since September. This, of course, is D&G, digital NFTs dripping in the brand's signature lavish style, is launched. I Love New York, of course, their collection, shown at this season's New York Fashion Week. This is Rebecca Minkoff, which worked with the digital marketplace, the Dematerialized, and Yahoo on 400 digital garments. So this shows a lot of direction, but this is an interesting statement here on why it matters. Shows a different approach to creating digital collections through a media buy by Yahoo, for which this is their first NFT collaboration. So this tells me big names afoot here in terms of tying with all of these into play, and not so fast just yet, because with this particular deal, look where Rebecca Minkoff is known for working with alternative platforms like, let me point it out here, Clubhouse and OnlyFans, as a keen explorer of the digital space. So this is the kind of talent that is moving into the space. And then you have Balenciaga doing a big drop on Fortnite. So another potential NFT collection, Balenciaga and Fortnite collaboration, definitive entry into the immersive game that is Fortnite. Again, why it matters, quick to adopt new formats, this brand, but even has not created its own NFT collection or bought a bigger brand presence into the metaverse. Will this approach be the marker for how luxury fashion brands navigate digital? And I kind of think when you look at a brand like Balenciaga, who is one, very open and in the essence of doing new things, this is right up their alley, and I think they'll continue to experiment and do some very interesting things. But here's the big angle, is that the likelihood is we'd see brands like Louis Vuitton, maybe Chanel, etc., that could move into that space. Now, some of this, of course, is getting outside the layer of where we may see the early entries on this. But remember, I want you guys to understand, this is very, very early. And if you're looking and researching this, you've got time. If you're looking at investing in this, do it cautiously, because the opportunities, I think, will start to direct. But it's kind of like Tesla. If you invested in Tesla in 2015 or 2016, obviously you know where you'd be right now if you've seen Tesla at over $1,200. So the likelihood of these kinds of projects are really going to move in that direction. And then you have things like Clinique. Clinique, a beauty NFT as a prize for social engagement. These are other ways that we're going to see brands moving in to the NFT and potentially into the metaverse space. And I think this is not going to stop right here. We're going to continue to see a big rush of products, content, and companies moving into strategic positioning plays for NFT and the metaverse. All of that, of course, is going to be driven on a variety of chains, many of which you guys know, Solana. Obviously, you've got things that are going to happen within Binance Smart Chain, and then the big boy, of course, that being Ethereum. When you look at something that's happening over here at Warner Brothers, let's go over here to the Hollywood Reporter. Social NFT platform Nifty will launch 100,000 avatars themed around the Matrix Resurrections with a special red pill feature. This is the avatars that will retail for $50 each from November 30th. And I just wanted to bring up Nifty if I had that one. So when you look at content creators, Warner Brothers is set to launch the red pill NFT avatars for Matrix Resurrections. Owners of the Matrix themed NFT avatars will be forced to choose between a blue pill and a red pill variant upon purchasing them now. And of course, when you look at where this is going, it's 100,000 avatars themed around Matrix. The whole blue pill, red pill, $50 each, and it's happening, it just happened, I should say, November 30th, or going to happen on November 30th. So got some time to look into that, and of course it's happening over here on Nifty's, and this is really kind of the look that we're seeing. They, of course, have done other projects like Goon Squad, other ways, and then here you can kind of see just the evolution of what Nifty's is doing and in NFTs, but really going after these kind of aspects, I think, is going to be kind of cool. Also, Quentin Tarantino is now releasing 7 Pulp Fiction NFTs with secret unreleased content, hence the word secret. And I'll show you what I mean by that here in a second. NFTs have skyrocketed, obviously. Popularity 2021, typical digital collectible, etc. This one, though, is collectibles are going to be secret NFTs built on the Secret Labs secret network, according to a press release by the company. So I think this is, again, getting back into the cycle of content creators figuring out, hey, I've got a great iconic product here, being able to resurrect it in the metaverse or within the NFT space and making it interactive is going to open up a lot of these kind of new things. So when you look at Secret, just quickly, this company right here is the company behind this particular project, data privacy platform for Web 3.0, Secret Network. You can kind of see the whole idea of building on Secret Network, where this ecosystem is going. But if you're watching this, the actual price of what Secret is doing, I want to jump to the chart here. This is where this one has gone over the past year. So you can kind of see a little bit of movement back here in February, a little bit of down movement, trading at 81 cents. And then, of course, right here, what we're seeing right now, which was that all-time high at $9.80, essentially a 10x move. And these are the kind of scenarios that I think are playing into the metaverse and into the NFT space. We're going to be doing a lot more content on these projects because there's a ton of projects like Secret and many others that we're tracking here within the network, PBN, but also diving into a lot of the infrastructure that's really driving some of this. And of course, when you look at how many of these are plugging into the metaverse, the key is finding the projects that are the central points for making that transaction or being able to enable that brand or that particular idea or content to move either into NFTs or into the metaverse itself. Now, it's not just, fashion brands and sports brands and movies and things of that nature. It's also the restaurant themes as well. So here you've got Burger King, who has teamed with investment platform Robinhood to offer members of its Royal Perks loyalty program a chance to win various cryptocurrency, according to a press release emailed to Marketing Dive. This was a piece done by them. And of course, it's basically Perks members who make qualifying $5 purchases at a BK restaurant will receive an email with a prize code that can be redeemed in the Robinhood app. And eventually, I'm kind of wondering if we might see some metaverse or, even beyond gamification that we've been watching within stock trading and crypto trading within Robinhood. There may be something there for Robinhood in terms of a future in this area, because this is going to open up a lot of different engagement. And when you think about this strategy with Burger King and Robinhood, this was a perfect play. One, the product DNA itself matches well with what we see in the QSR, quick service restaurant crowd of Burger King. You have a different type of demographic audience which will match up. And then you play it within the gamification side, matching that up with cryptocurrency. It seems like just the perfect storm that's brewing and potentially rolling into that. So I think that is going to be something that we'll continue to see right there. And also, Burger King's NFT strategy is starting to mature beyond stunts toward real engagement. And that is what we're talking about here. When we see brands like Burger King, McDonald's, of course, we've already seen. So you just run down the list. So we've told you and showed you fashion brands. We've showed you, great movie makers like Tarantino. We've showed you great iconic, series like The Matrix. And you're looking at the potential breakout of a lot of these projects that are moving in that direction. If you haven't checked out our Metaverse video, make sure and check that out as well. Last up is when we get into physical NFTs, and this is going to be fun to watch. Artifact Technology is launching a physical NFT keychain accessory. So just another way for NFTs to make their way into our daily lives. And it's much like social media. I reference this a lot to where social media is going, because when I talk to people about what the metaverse is, they don't necessarily get it just yet unless they've got a little bit in terms of gaming mental capacity, or if they understand what's happening within the gaming ecosystem. But when you talk social media, they get it. They understand, when I go into Facebook or when I go into Twitter, obviously Facebook is trying to recreate what's happening in the metaverse. That may be the place that all this occurs. That is going to be questionable, I think. But at the same time, if anybody can pull it off that has enough of at least a developer head start and a money head start, Facebook, of course, is one of the big ones. But when you look at Artifact, where they're bringing in physical, now you start tying physical applications in the NFT space over into potentially that bridge into the metaverse, which is the metaverse world in terms of whether it's gaming or if it's something that's escapism that we start to see in our daily lives. Could this be in the next 5 years? I think we could see a certain amount of the population, maybe within the next 3 years, start to move into this. And I want you to understand one thing that's very important about the metaverse: gaming. Gaming will eat the world when this goes, because when earn to play and play to earn is really integrated into all of this application capability, it is going to change the planet in the essence of, people who don't have jobs. This is really going to be a very interesting place, because if you've never seen Real Player One or Ready Player One, you've got to take a look at that. And even some of the Avatar replacement movies, some of their theory and even kind of concept gameplay behind what they've done in the movies, I think has a lot to do with where we're going to see this creativity. Because remember, the developers and the designers are the ones that are actually creating those kinds of futures. And that is the creativity that I think we're going to continue to see. Last up, of course, is Disney. And that is their partnership with Veve for Golden Moments NFT. And this is, you can kind of see some of the Disney art here that they're moving into. But the big key here is Disney-themed NFTs throughout November, the holy grail of licensing contracts. This is a big one for Veve or Veve. The result is a set of golden moments, which is a rich collection of intellectual properties. We'll see all kinds of things in here, much-loved characters from Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, and more. This is going to be a big deal, and look at the numbers here. NFT marketplace Veve has established itself as one of the front runners. New wave of collectibles, distributed 2 million digital assets here, and huge take-up in terms of the total number of people. And then they've got the potential now to go into the latest edition of other things around 007, Star Trek, etc. But I also highlighted this one section right here. NFT marketplace Veve has established itself as one of the front runners of this new wave of collectibles, distributing over 2 million digital assets. That's a big one since the inception, I think. And also the bigger number here is the 500,000 subs on its platform. So all of that plays into a very good and cool play into blockchain. Guess whose name is right there at the end, and that is Immutable X. Immutable X we talked about here on the channel. It is one of those projects that I think is going to absolutely go nuts, and it is, you can't get to it here from within the US, but you've got, I can't tell you how to do that, but if you have a way to get to that project, they are opening up this very soon. So this is another example of where we'll start to see it before it goes live on one of the exchanges, being Immutable X. So lots happening in the space of the metaverse and NFTs. The brands are starting to pile in. That will start to create innovation, but the number one thing it's going to do is create demand within it. The first company that truly gets into engagement on whether it's gaming or some sort of Second Life style of real-world metaverse application, maybe that is Meta, aka Facebook, that does it, is going to win big because it's going to be the first place in there. The difference between, and now a lot of people talk to me about this, well, what's the difference between this and, Second Life, because the Second Life failed and miserably? It's the difference between MySpace and Facebook? Is that was a time in which technology did not exist that enabled all of this to happen. What's the one thing you need for a society to thrive? You need the ability to run monetary gain, and that is trade. And the only thing that works within this is going to be blockchain. Blockchain technology and gaming combined, eating the world. So that's the tips for the day. If you guys ever understand, when you look at these projects, the main thing is find out how they're connected to the metaverse, find out if there's an NFT strategy behind it, look at the team behind it, look at the investors behind that team, and if that is comfortable and you like the game, there you go in terms of a strategy of start to move into some of these. Move quickly and be very forceful on your understanding of where you're going with that, because that's the biggest thing. You can make a lot of mistakes. All of this, though, caution to the wind. You can lose it all, because this is definitely a degen approach to investing, degenerate investing, meaning nobody else is doing it. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's when you should do it. And that's when I'm looking at it in terms of the metaverse. All right. You guys are listening up over on the podcast right now. Make sure and give us some kudos over there. Or jump over here to the YouTube channel, because this is going to be the place where we do all kinds of chart analysis. We get our CEO interviews, our developer interviews, and some of the insiders on our show, and they absolutely are killing it. We just had John Deaton on to talk about XRP, so you guys got to check out some of those videos. If you have an idea for a content piece, or maybe you've got a metaverse or an NFT project that you think we should take a look at, drop it in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitter, @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.